from across the Philippines. Maayong buntag, magandang umaga. It is WFTO Asia's great honor to be invited to speak today about our work in fair trade and the environment on this significant occasion, the 3rd Philippine Environment Summit. My name is Mitos Urgel, and I represent the Asia region of the World Fair Trade Organization, a global community of fair trade enterprises. Founded in 1989, it has over 400 members spread in 73 countries. In Asia, we have over 150 fair trade members in 20 countries. Through peer reviews and independent audits, WFTO ensures members are mission-led businesses that put people and planet first. So what is fair trade? Fair trade exists because our global economy is failing us because of how trade is conducted, which is resulting to increased inequality and further marginalization of the economically displaced. Fair trade enterprises are placing primacy on people and planet over profit. It is a trading partnership based on dialogue, transparency, and respect. It works to promote social, environmental, and economic justice in international trade. This means we in the fair trade movement pioneer solutions to broader issues like overuse of natural resources, transforming communities, women's empowerment, refugee livelihoods, human rights, inequality, marginalization, and sustainable farming. Fair trade contributes to sustainable development by offering better trading options and conditions to ensure the rights of marginalized producers and workers, especially in the South. Fair trade enterprises are involved in creating innovative products and services, ethical practices that support organic agriculture, adopt circular economy production processes, generate new models for social enterprises, and in the charting and creating new ways towards change. Fair trade enterprises across the world are producing and trading, campaigning and educating for a better world. The WFTO is their global community. Their direct impact includes 965,700 livelihoods, of which 74% are women, and women made up the majority of the leadership. If we look at the conventional trade, you have at least 12% women who are in the board. WFTO Asia, we have over 50%, and even producers are sitting on the board. So WFTO pioneer upcycling and social enterprise, refugee livelihoods, and women's leadership. So what are we doing? We do fair trade in the environment in regards to circular economy. Fair trade is the most advanced model for ensuring business takes care of people. When combined with new approaches in circular economy, what results are the world's most inspiring enterprises. These fair trade enterprises showcase the business models of the new economy. There is a surge in upcycling waste and recycling across the global community of fair trade enterprises. For example, in Bangladesh, they are turning waste saris, paper, and discarded cotton from fast fashion factories into bags, baskets, and ornaments. Meanwhile, in Zanzibar, Tanzania, a fair trade enterprise is turning waste glass and discarded magazines into lighting accessories and bead curtains. These stories are repeated the world over as enterprises show they work for both people and planet. Some of the examples, for example, in Village Ward, Cambodia, these are recycled materials made into beautiful bags. In Bangladesh as well, Singapore, they are demonstrating on that. So these are just some examples of what fair trade is doing in the circular economy. Fair trade and organics. Every fair trade enterprises must put people and planet first. This includes a focus on organic agriculture to make sure farming doesn't undermine the local ecology. This is why most fair trade enterprises sourcing food and agricultural products are fostering organic farming methods. Fair trade is guided by its charter that defines a united vision of building a better future for people and planet. It enshrines the common fundamental values of the fair trade movement to put us on the path to realizing the sustainable development goals. Rising inequality, entrenched poverty, and a deepening ecological crisis have led the global community to seek new models of business and trade that drive fair and sustainable economies. Nurturing biodiversity and the environment. The protection of the environment and the long-term viability of natural resources and biodiversity are fundamental pillars of fair trade. Good environmental practice is the responsibility of all actors, all producers, in a chain of production, distribution, as well as consumption. The value chain is managed to ensure real cost of good environmental practice are reflected in prices and terms of trade. Small-scale farmers and artisans are supported in developing and in investing in adaptation and mitigation strategies. Fair trade aims to strengthen social capital by partnering with inclusive and democratic organizations. Associations or cooperatives of small and family-owned businesses have always been at the heart of fair trade. Fair trade have 10 principles. And the 10 principles specify the ways that fair trade enterprises are set up and behave to ensure they put people and planet first. The WSTO carries out verification and monitoring to ensure these principles are upheld. Demonstrating compliance earns fair trade enterprises the designation of guaranteed fair trade. So as you can see that logo there, social enterprises who are able to pass the audit and they are verified becomes guaranteed. So this is like the label, the mark that we have in the products that the fair trade enterprises have. Organizations which produce fair trade products maximize. Before I go into that, I would just like to go through the 10 principles of fair trade. So as you can see, we have 10 principles, and at the bottom, we have respect for the environment. You might be interested to know that in September last year, the World Fair Trade Organization, the global movement, had a conference in Lima, Peru. And during that time, a resolution has been approved that principle number 10 is not only going to look at respect for the environment, it will now become climate crisis and protecting the environment. So we will be expanding that. In a short while, I'll be talking to you about how we do in the compliance for the respect for the environment. But I would just like to mention that all these principles are equally important. In my own interpretation, actually, in some fair trade enterprises, we feel that respect for the environment is at the bottom. Because any development cannot progress without a very strong foundation. And if we are harming our environment, that will make everything crumble. So for us, fair trade, we do business, we do enterprise, but then our bias is with the economically disadvantaged producers, those who are in the bottom of the pyramid. We have to make sure that we are able to do business, but this business, the profit that we are able to earn, will be reinvested back to our social and environmental mission. And that is the core of what we are doing. Another principle is actually in regards to transparency and accountability. We have to be accountable, we have to be transparent in what we are doing. And we have to be accountable with our environment. Then we have fair trade practices, fair wage, and fair pay. I would like to mention that it's very important that we have to take this into consideration. In fair trade, we are not only talking about national wage, we are also talking about the living wage. For an income that we are receiving from the enterprise, is not sufficient to be able for us to send our children to school or to have other social benefits. It's also at the heart of fair trade about no child labor and no forced labor. And some of the enterprises, they're saying, but what can we do? You know, there are communities wherein children have lost their parents. So young children have to work. In fair trade, what we are saying is that for as long as we are able to provide education, provide access to children in this very unique situation. But we have to ensure that because in many countries, we are using children. They are using children in order to have cheap labor. And number 6, of course, for the information of everyone. So this is about there should be no discrimination, gender equity, and freedom of association. We have to ensure that we are able to provide good working conditions, even if we are small enterprises, and the continuous capacity building, and as well as in the promotion of fair trade. So this is what is guiding us. And our guarantee system, we are being measured on these 10 principles. So on the 10 principle, which is the respect for the environment, these are the indicators that we have, which is included in the verification process. Organizations which produce fair trade products maximize the use of raw materials from sustainably managed sources in their ranges, buying locally when possible. They use production technologies that seek to reduce energy consumption, use of carbon, low carbon, carbon neutral production processes, and where possible use renewable energies, technologies that minimize greenhouse gas effects. They seek to minimize the impact of the waste stream on the environment. Fair trade agricultural commodity producers minimize their environmental impacts by using organic or low pesticide use carbon production methods whenever possible. Buyers and importers of fair trade products give priority to buying products made from the raw materials that originate from sustainably managed sources and have the least overall impact on the environment. All organizations use recycled or easily biodegradable materials for packing to the extent possible, and goods are dispatched by sea whenever possible. So let's look at the compliance criteria. This is just a sample. And this is where members have to fill in. For example, number 10.1, it's meeting legal environmental requirements. You comply with applicable legal requirements on environmental protection. So all of the fair trade enterprises have to be able, it's a mandatory for everyone. Minimizing impacts, producers minimize impacts, training and support in environmental issues, packaging and transport. But you will be able to see that there is continuous improvement because we are being measured for the first time, for the first cycle, 2 years, and then another 4 years. So we can still improve if we are not yet fully complying with the standards. So just let's take a look at some of the examples of Fair Trade 10 in action. So here, actually, we have our very own Fair Trade enterprise here in Cagayan at Salay. And that is Salay Handmade Products Industries. And they produce and market handmade papers and other items using common grass, a weed, and that interferes with local farming and natural fibers. So this afternoon, we will hear more about the inspiring work from Shopee, from their representative, Elena Palamini, in her talk this afternoon on non-wood material for paper. But they're one of the groups that really have very inspiring practice, innovative practice. As I mentioned earlier, pocketry from Bangladesh, they made this from the recycled sari, ensures that the people who collect the waste fabrics are treated fairly while adopting a production process embracing upcycling. They are collecting and upcycling saris, paper, and discarded cotton from fast fashion factories to create high-quality fair trade bags, baskets, and environment. For us, the environment and social goals pull in the same direction. Upcycling helps clean up some of the mess created by large-scale manufacturing while creating a business model benefiting local artists. So this is the executive director of Pocketry saying. Another example that we have, Homeland, WSTO, they are a women's organization, they are based in Nepal, and Halin, they are a rattan and bamboo, they specialize on rattan and bamboo. And these are all handmade and use carbon neutral production methods to improve the lives of their communities. We also have enterprises that use anti-plastic materials for products using natural fibers, including alpaca, organic cotton, sustainable silk, hemp, wool, pineapple, banana, bamboo, or tree barks as alternative plastic materials. And this is a very inspiring organization in India. Conserve India, they work with garbage pickers, and they transform those materials. They use innovative products in order to address the garbage. And they also work particularly with displaced persons in India. Natural dyes and sustainable dyeing methods, cooling farm tools, and regenerative agriculture. I think lots of enterprises in this room, environmental groups, are also doing natural dyes. We are also using innovative technologies, like this group, Creative Handicrafts, is based in India, and they are using solar panels to power their workshop. So, fair trade and those environment and biodiversity friendly enterprises are of the same feather. We are doing work to promote and to advance ecological economic and equity. So our call is, we would like to invite you to visit our website and to support the International Fair Charter. And we also, it's in the website www.wfto.com. And also, as consumer, we request you to demand fair trade, to ask your shops to stock products from verified fair trade organization. Although I would like to say that in the Philippines, we have 5 inspiring organizations. At the moment, we only have 5 inspiring organizations, including CCAP, Salay, SAFI, So we would like to invite you to become a WFTO member. So if you are interested to know more, then we can talk later. Lastly, I would like to quote this statement from Olivier de Schachter. He is a former UN rapporteur on right to food. We believe we are part of a proof of concept that a better way of doing business is possible. We hope to inspire a broader transformation. Thank you very much.